Hello everyone and welcome to Spoiler Warning, featuring myself, Tom Colohue. The top stories tonight are based around the impending, supposedly, return of The Rock for the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania. We are also going to be talking about Vince McMahon and the news of a settlement in an allegation against him, current releases from WWE head office and the plan there, CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, and the general WWE 2K situation, primarily the leaks that have been going round recently. Plenty to cover, as you guys will be fully aware. So be sure to hit like, subscribe if you haven't, and let's jump in with the chat. First up was Katana Pawns All. There's a storyline would be who is a true head of the table of their family. Feuds that involve family could have some of the best storylines. Roman's best feud in his heel run is when he was fighting Jay. Yes, and they haven't really moved on from that. It's kind of still bubbling up in that level of resentment. Justin says, I'm fine with Rock versus Roman, but Cody versus Roman needs to be night 2 for the WWE title. Night 1, Roman versus Rock for Universal, where Roman catches Rock in an acceptable compromise. Also says, very classy of NXT to pause and acknowledge Jay. Didn't expect that. This is, of course, Jay Briscoe. Shawn Michaels and Triple H seem to acknowledge there's wrestling outside WWE. Dark Society says, how's everything going today, Tom? Going very well, thank you. Bit of a pull on my ribs. I'm starting to feel my age, what can I say? But otherwise, busy workday, bit hectic. Time for wrestling. What's not to like? Peter Englefield has renewed his membership. Thank you kindly, Peter. Welcome back to the show. Nick Rose. No, I have no idea who that is. No idea. Peter says, nice to be here. Hope you're well, Tom. Doing very well, thank you. Jordan says, good evening, Tom, and the Spoiler Warning community. Welcome, everybody. Spider Boss is here saying, hi, Tom. So finally, The Rock is coming back to WWE, right? I still remember that Edge interfered in the match of Judgment Day versus Rey and Dominic at SummerSlam 2022. Could Edge do the same on Raw Triple X? And Spider Boss says, who do you see winning the USA title on Raw? Theory or Lashley? I see Theory retaining. Christoph says, hi, Tom. Hello, Christoph. How you doing? FDR says, hello, all. Hi, Tom. Feel nice to be able to catch a spoiler warning today. Good to see you here, FDR. Good to see you. Good to see you. Spider-Boss says, my question is, does The Rock appear in the Royal Rumble match or after Roman's match? Stuart says, evening, Tom. Evening, Stuart. And Moxie says, yo, Tom Colohue. Welcome, sir. Spider-Boss is excited for the promo battles that could happen between Roman and The Rock. Stuart says, evening, Tom. Eric Douglas says, Tom, do you think Roxanne Cora could be another AJ Liam Page? It could be. I don't think it will be, though. Callie says, evening, Tom. Evening, sir. FDR dropping tables into the chat. Always a good choice. Harry says, hi, Tom. Did you see 2K released a photo of WWE 2K23? No, I saw some leaked photos there that may or may not be true. Kevin Dunlap says, evening, Tom. It's almost like we've been told for quite a while The Rock will not be at the Royal Rumble. If only they subscribe to Spoiler Warning. Very true, Kevin. Very true. There will be more on that shortly, as soon as we get to the information that we've got on that one. Plenty more news to come as I'm catching up. Connecting People says, cheers. Cheers. Homelander says, what is your problem with Tyler Bate? No comment. Nick Rose says, any update on the sale yet? Yes, there is more on that to come. Brad Becker says, The Rock said he's out for Mania. Does that mean The Rock is going to be there? Has The Rock said that, or has someone said that The Rock has said that? Venom says, hi, Tom. How are you? Pretty good, Venom. How are you? Traffic says, good evening, Tom and chat. Thanks as always. RIP again to Jay. And the wrestling in the world is a worse place without him. Very true. Cam says, hi, Tom. Hello, Cam. Juan Orozco says, do you think AEW can get another channel's TV deal? Yes. It will be for less money, though. Less money. There are definitely some issues at the moment. Thank you for the clarification, Callie. Thank you very much. I do appreciate that. I don't want to be saying the wrong thing to people. So, nice to have a heads up. Yeah, the current TV deal, there are some issues ongoing as regards AEW and their current supplier. I do feel they will be looking where else they can get the deal in question. However, as I say, it may be for less money, which will cause some issues. Bailey says, given Vince's predilection for revenge, how likely would it be to shut to NXT one day just out of spite? What revenge would he be getting there? Like, what would be the revenge in question? Eric says, John Cena is the cover athlete. Thank you very much for the clarification. Is that direct from 2K to announcer? Because last I heard, it was very much a situation whereby it was a leak. So tell me whether or not that's been officially released. Thank you, Moxie. SBM says, hey, Tom. Hello, kindly. Daz says, Tom, do you think we'll get any surprises for this week? Yes. Mostly because there's a Royal Rumble at the end of it. Also, we don't know what's booked yet. Spider-Boss says, I don't remember who said, but last year someone said Cora Jade was the new Sasha Banks. Someone did. Not someone I'd particularly listen to. Can we just get rid of the guy cosplaying as Homelander, please? Homelander is a cool villain who does good things, whereas the person pretending to be Homelander is a keyboard warrior who lives in basements. Raymond says, hello, Tom. Great to see you. Hope all is well on your end. All is well. Thank you, Raymond. Welcome to the show. Hector says, happy Friday, Tom. Did you catch the new Wall Street Journal report about Vince settling with the former employee that sued him? Yes, I did, and more is coming. Thank you very much, the Heno Streams, for subscribing. Welcome to the show. You will get notifications every time we go live, and there is plenty of that to come. Harry says, do you think Kane and The Undertaker might reunite at Raw 30th? Maybe. I wouldn't like it. Personally, I think we should focus on who's there, not who isn't. Eric says, why didn't Discovery let AEW run the tribute show? They did not want to. As blunt as that can possibly be there. They refused to allow it. They did not want it to happen. And, they made their feelings known. Christoph says, Hogan just announced for Raw 30th. Most iconic name in wrestling, but ironically didn't have so many matches in Raw history. Very true. So the issue there, real simple on this one, that's Vince McMahon getting involved. Triple H had no interest in a return to screens for Hulk Hogan. In fact, when it comes to legends in general, Triple H not that interested. Nick Rose says, do you think John Cena will turn heel? No. Stream says, hi Tom, it's Mick. Hope you're fine. Welcome, Mick. I did recognise the middle name there. I did recognise. I like that you've gone from subscribing as the Heno and now you're Der Heno. Interesting. The Dark Society says, here's my final thought for the Royal Rumble. Austin Theory, Cody Rhodes, Sami Zayn and Seth Rollins. 3 potential winners. And Austin Theory there. Noob says, hello Tom, how are you doing today? Doing very well, thank you. Pardon me. Spider-Boss says, Fightful Select reported that WWE is still confident that Naomi will return to the company. Spider-Boss, I do believe you're here for every show. You were already fully aware of that, as was anyone else who's a regular on this channel. Simon, when I announced the headlines, did I mention them? Because if not, no. Plans for SmackDown tonight. Yeah, we will be doing a live watch party. Hopefully it'll be a good show, but all we really know is a contract signing and a couple of tag team matches, which, to be fair, look quite fun. One says AEW will be on Fight. In no way did I say that. In no way did that come out of my mouth, I tell you that. You're basically reading whatever you want there. Spider-Boss says, could AEW be shut down if they don't get a new TV deal? Yeah, they wouldn't be able to afford their talent. If they don't get a new TV deal, and I'm confident they'll get a TV deal, they would no longer be able to keep the talent that they have. Horsey says, Tom Colohue, hope you're good, buddy. Very good, thank you, Horsey. Welcome to the show. Raymond says, I'm looking forward to seeing the fallout from last week with Sami and the Bloodline. Hope Sami confronts the Usos about their interference. I'm sure he will, and he'll have a lot to say about it. Michael says, hi, Tom. Hello, Michael. And Spider-Boss says, my final 4 for the women's Royal Rumble are Rhea and Becky and Bayley and Raquel. I like how you say all the ands there. We currently have 95 viewers, but only the 15 likes. Please remember to hit that thumbs up as you come in. It does a big favour for me and ensures the growth of the channel in a really meaningful way. So please make sure to hit those buttons for me. It is a big help and I really do appreciate it. Also, to be fair, if you've not yet done so, please remember to hit subscribe. I currently am too high than I was, but let's be fair, one of them was a troll, so that will be going pretty quickly. Dom says, what's up, Tom? I passed the first part of my... I don't know what that is, Dom. I'm going to need some more context on that one. Cool, Des. Cheers. The issue you got is that this is a watch party that Wrestling Days is doing, so I would be sending people away from potentially watching my watch party later. I pick my moments. Venom, I've already told you exactly what's going to happen when it comes to Raw watch parties. I've told you when I'm doing it and told you when I'm not. Devin says, I believe Theory's 2K ad on Twitter is basically confirming the leak. Gotcha, Heno. Dominic says, are they splitting the world titles after WrestleMania? It very much depends on what happens at WrestleMania. Vegeta Lover says, hi Tom. How you doing, mate? It's been a little while since we've seen you. Noob says, although Warner Brothers Discovery continues to make terrible decisions, they did a great job with Last of Us TV show. Even my family are enjoying it. It is absolutely fantastic. I really quite enjoyed it. However, I don't think they're as involved with it as you may think. Venom is hoping the Usos lose one of the tag belts. Eventually, I'm sure they will. Michael says SRS, meaning Fightful, tweeted earlier about office cuts. I would imagine talent cuts isn't far away. More on that very shortly. I have nearly caught up. Eric says, I hope AEW continues to be good. It helps the talent. Nick says, is DX coming back for Raw Triple X? It depends what you mean by DX. There will be some sort of DX input there, but it depends what you mean by DX. There's a lot more to it. Hello, Ofa. Says, hey, Tom. I've spent today watching recommended wrestling shows. So far, I've seen No Way Out and Backlash 2004, as well as Wrestle War 1991. Wow, that's quite a diverse options there. Moxie says, in my opinion, Rhea wins the Rumble, then beats Bianca at Mania, and Beth challenges Rhea and loses. Truck driving license. Got it, Tom. Got it. Nas says, hey, Tom. Hey, Nas. DC says, hey there, Tom. Always an honour and pleasure to be part of your live stream. Thank you kindly. Do you believe in one calendar year that the WWE will be sold, and how will that look? First question, personally I believe yes. Second question, it is literally impossible to even speculate on it. Literally impossible. Depends who buys it, depends what their intentions are, depends who they retain, depends who's not retained, depends who's released before we get to that point, depends on the overall intention, depends on sponsorship input, depends on what channels there are, depends on the negotiations with Fox and with USA Network, depends if Fox or USA Network buy it. It is not possible to answer that question. Spider-Boss says, did Judgment Day lose clean against the Usos on Raw? Yep. Vegeta says AEW is all right. Simon, once again, I read the headlines out already. Jermaine says, hi Tom, how is your week so far? Been going very well, thank you. Been going very well. Been a hard one for work. Been working hard, but ultimately, still quite fun. Harry says, Tom, my final four for the men's Royal Rumble is Cody Rhodes, Dominic Mysterio, Rey Mysterio, and Sami Zayn. Very much down to two there. Ryan Betson says, hey Tom, with Money in the Bank going international, would we be seeing other countries getting a pay-per-view? Still waiting for a WWE live show first booked in June 2020 here in Melbourne, Australia. Yes, the intention is very much to go as continental as possible. Far and wide, more focus on continents such as, subcontinents such as India and of course Australia, really putting focus into areas like that. They have been to Australia before, they are still intending to come back. Spider-Boss says, how long until the wrestlers that return under Triple H get fired? That is an impossible question to ask. It also may never happen. More on that shortly. Peter says, Tom is setting up a GoFundMe to buy out WWE and everything is on the table. I can't say otherwise. Now can I? That's become the meme of the show. Our first story to talk about. Office staff are currently being released from WWE head office as Vince McMahon pushes forward with a planned redistribution of the office structure. Essentially, the plan is to move away from the current setup of having one major building in Connecticut. They would sell that building for a pretty large profit and work out of a selection of smaller offices, more local offices, and on the road sections. A lot of people, including writers and production staff, would be working to a move from home system. Production staff and road agents are also being released. That hasn't really been focused on too much yet, but that is ongoing as we speak. Nick Khan is making the decisions as to who goes and when, but the plan is very much that the budget cuts have started preparing for the WWE to be sold. Getting rid of the building, getting rid of Titan Towers was always part of the plan in order to streamline the company and to make sure that any potential buyer will not have that weight on their shoulders. Talent are not on the chopping block as of yet. As I've been reporting for a while, people who've been brought back or people who've been brought in are on much less pay than the ones who went out via the cost-benefit analysis. Much less pay, and that is in many ways protecting them as we speak. There are also a lot less bonuses happening right now, which once again is providing a lot of protection. The big sign that something is going awry when it comes to the talent cuts will be in NXT, where there are a number of people that Vince just isn't particularly happy with, and a number of people that, to be fair, Triple H isn't particularly happy with, who would be moved quietly out of the door as soon as possible, because, put simply, they wouldn't be someone that they want to sell, because they wouldn't believe that there would be someone who would sell or add much in the way of value. That is our first piece of news. Simon says, Warner Brothers are an absolute disgrace to the world in not allowing a Jay Briscoe's tribute show. Dominic says, are they going to bring back Clash at the Castle? No, the intention was to have one show a year in the UK. I reported this right after Clash at the Castle. In fact, actually right before Clash at the Castle, I first mentioned it. And the plan very much was for that exact situation to continue. One UK show a year, one India show a year, 2 Saudi Arabia shows a year, and then a couple of special shows such as, for example, Australia. They are looking at a Asia market, particularly. They want to move into China a little bit. If that happens, we'll see Xia Li getting a lot more attention. Nick Rose says Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Road Dogg, X-Pac. Very possible all of them will be there, yes. Vijay says, why would you say people will get fired? I didn't say people will get fired. I said people are actively being fired at the moment. Office staff is being released. Production and road agents are being released. But I'm not sitting here saying this person is going to be fired. Raymond says, I rewatched 1992 Rumble recently to gear up for this year's Rumble. What are your favourite Rumbles? My favourite was definitely 2020, won by Drew McIntyre, though the one, the 2019, was it 2020? It was 2020, wasn't it? Yeah. Though I will say 2019 with the big win for Becky Lynch was a big one as well. Spiderboss says, I'd love to see a pay-per-view in Latin America. UK and Saudi Arabia have got pay-per-views. They have, and they will continue that continentalization, which is the phrase that they're using. Pardon me. Hector says, if Cena is indeed the cover of 2K23 and he gets a showcase mode, we better get the Firefly Funhouse... Pardon me, sorry guys. Firefly Funhouse match involved, because why not? Once again, guys, I asked for confirmation here. Nobody's given it to me. Has the WWE or 2K themselves announced that John Cena is going to be the cover star, or is it just a leak? Mahesh says, if The Rock does not return at the Royal Rumble, I'm going to riot. Well, I wish you good luck with that. Dad says, are the Outlaws coming back for Raw 30? No. Horsey says, so it depends. Love that response. Christoph says, my final 4 for the Women's Rumble is Becky, Bayley, Ronda, Shayna. Becky wins. Horsey says, are you surprised they're bringing Hogan back on Monday? Yes, because Triple H did not want to do that. Spiderboss says, who picks the wrestlers on the cover of the 2K20 of the WWE 2K games? 2K. The WWE have their input, but it's 2K. Now says, what's your favourite out of the big 4 pay-per-views? Royal Rumble, any day of the week. Absolutely love a good Royal Rumble. Absolutely love it. Billy says, Tom, what became of the larger building WWE announced in 2019 to replace Titan Tower? Essentially, they shut it down because of pandemic. They shut down the whole project and decided to streamline it in other directions, hence the talent being let go and Nick Khan's cost-benefit analysis lists. Spiderboss says, if WWE go back to do a pay-per-view in Australia, I think Rhea Ripley being champion would be best for business. Eric says, hi Tom, do you think there'll be any non-WWE talent like Mickie James last year at the Rumble, or it's not likely? There will be non-WWE talent, mostly because they would have retired from WWE a while ago. Mickie James is not planned to be there. One says, what's your estimate of AEW's next deal? I have absolutely no idea. What I will say is, if you're interested in the finances of AEW, I have a YouTube video on it, an AEW financial analysis with myself and a fellow journalist named Gleb, who does great work in that field. It's well worth checking out. Peter Roberts says, hi Tom, do you watch Dynamite every week? I do not. I do not have the time to stay up on a Wednesday. I obviously work during the week as well, so I can't stay up until 3 a.m. every Wednesday to watch Dynamite. And when it comes to the catch-up, I don't have a lot of time, considering I also watch WWE. Steve says, Tom Colohue, how are you, buddy? Doing very well, thank you, Steve, and I hope the same for you. Kieran says, 2010 will always be my favourite because of how good all the stories were that came out of it. Jermaine says, please push that, click that like. Tell Tom's YouTube site. Why? Because the more people do that, the better the site will be. The better the channel will be indeed. Every like basically guarantees that YouTube will advertise this show to more people. If YouTube advertises this show to more people, we get more subscribers, we get more people chatting, asking questions, we get more views on our shorts, etc, etc. Before you know it, Tom Colohue is making enough money just from the ads on these shows to actually make a living. So every little does help. Please remember that thumbs up and please subscribe if you haven't already. Spiderboss's favourite Royal Rumble is 2008. We've seen it entering at number 30. Daz has confirmed it's a leak. Kieran also confirms it's a leak, but the tweet got hit with DMCA. Don't know if that means anything though. Venom says they've ruined the men's Rumble because they've made it so obvious Cody Rhodes is winning. More on that shortly. Daz says my final 4 for the Rumble, Cody, Seth, Bobby and Sheamus. Christoph says my favourites Rumble 94, 2008 and 2020. So like lots. Just like lots of different ones. New says, I heard Road Dogg said that Asuka should be the Roman Reigns of the women's division. Do you agree with that statement? No. I think Asuka should be the Asuka of the women's division. I don't think anyone should be Roman Reigns other than Roman Reigns. Steve says, I love the mention of 92 Rumble match. My personal favourite, a great Rumble with a commentary team of Monsoon and Heenan on the night, taking that Rumble to another level, in my opinion. Simon is going to bet on Sasha Banks. I was very clear on that previously, but you do what you got to do. Ryan says, you haven't shared already, what's your personal opinion on the Briscoe Memorial Show issue with Warner Brothers Discovery? Warner Brothers does pay for a certain amount of programming. When it comes to airing more than that, they chose not to because they would have had to pay more and find room in the schedule. I can see both sides, personally. Spiderboss says, after Becky, who is your favourite wrestler in the women's division of WWE? Dakota Kai. Becky is not actually my favourite. John Gillis says, have you heard if Tessa Blanchard, no, or Mako, maybe, or Kyrie, possibly, are coming to the WWE Royal Rumble? I think I covered that pretty well. Tristan says, what's the latest on Brock Lesnar versus Gunter at WrestleMania 39? I have heard reports on that, none of whom have come from a credible source. Brad Becker believes that 92 is a great Rumble. Bailey says, post-pandemic, Dave Meltzer has had more misses and hits among his recent stories. How is he currently viewed among the wrestling journalism community? Well, this seems like a great time to go into details on The Rock. So, to be blunt, at this point in time, every piece of information I've gotten from anyone within WWE is that The Rock has never been booked for the Royal Rumble, and he has never been booked for WrestleMania. As with every single year, including the last 4, when these stories came out from the exact same source, the WWE are interested, and as with every year, The Rock would have needed to start preparing his cardiovascular fitness a long time ago. The Undertaker has made comment on this. When you reach a certain age and when you reach a certain fitness level, you do have to basically spend a year preparing for a 30-minute match where all you're doing is running around, doing core work, and basically doing a lot of pure pickups and throws. It's not easy. It's not about being strong. It's about stamina. And that is very, very difficult to maintain when you're not wrestling week in and week out and going to the gym every single day. The talk of deadlines and last-minute decisions is nonsense. Absolute nonsense. The idea that, we've got a couple more days for The Rock to decide if he's going to be there for the Royal Rumble. That is not how it works at all. If The Rock has decided to be there, he will be there. But as I say, at this point in time, The Rock has never been booked for the Royal Rumble. He has never been booked for WrestleMania. That is the news that I've been able to get. That is the only news that I've been able to get. And I really do think we need to start asking a few more questions, because we're all excited about the idea of, The Rock's coming back. And as Bailey says, Dave Meltzer has had more misses and hits. When you consider the source, and you consider the fact that for the last 4 years, this exact source has said in November, December time, The Rock's coming. And then in January time has said, The Rock's not coming. Maybe you should stop believing this one. It might be time, at least on things like this, to move on from Dave Meltzer a little bit. Because as is the cycle, November, December, we start hearing from Wrestling Observer, The Rock's coming back. January time, we start hearing from Wrestling Observer, The Rock's not coming back. What happens is a hell of a lot of people find their way to the Wrestling Observer in November, December, and then a hell of a lot of people find their way to the Wrestling Observer in January. It is the epitome of clickbait. It is absolutely perfect way to grow your damn channel. I'm not at all envious of it, because I personally find it very disingenuous. The Rock works a very busy schedule. He has not had the room for WWE for years now, and he does not, at this point, have the cardiovascular fitness, because he simply hasn't been working on that to have a main event of WrestleMania match with Roman Reigns. There's also, funnily enough, a unconfirmed report right now from a account which said The Rock could be winning the Royal Rumble, that The Rock and Steve Austin are going to have a stare down at the Royal Rumble, which is not winning the Royal Rumble, is it? A lot of people are telling on themselves by changing their stories on this one. Always make a point of listening to the people who don't change their stories, because they actually know what's happening. John Gillis says The Rock signed NDAs as per Zero News. Zero News. John, I appreciate you sourcing your information. You've confirmed to me that that is simply not true. Spider-Boss says the ending of the 2005 Rumble was funny. Vince tore his quads. It was quite funny. It literally, as he got into the ring, so he just had to sit there. It was hilarious. Spider-Boss says, among wrestling journalists, who is more annoying, SRS or Meltzer? No comment on that one. Come on, mate. Horsey says the AEW financial analysis was amazing. Thank you for checking it out, Horsey. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm very, very proud of the journalism that we do here. That's a perfect example for me of what we like to try and do. A lot of people are big fans of Gleb as well. Very, very good journalist, knows his stuff and really works hard on it. We will be having him back. Venom says it'd be cool to see Braun break in the Rumble. Do you think he will be? I think he will be personally. I'd like to see him there, but that's not a report. Okay? Not a report. Harry says, do you think a legend returns at the Women's Royal Rumble? Yep. Horsey says, please help Tom smash those likes. 35 likes now, which is a great number so far. 100 viewers though, so still only about a third. Let's keep going and hit those thumbs up for me. Hector says, 07 was definitely my favourite Rumble, because The Undertaker was always my favourite wrestler growing up. Never thought he'd ever win or needed to win it, but he did, and I was a happy kid. He didn't need to win it, but the ending of that Rumble was superb. Absolutely superb. Kieran says, if The Rock comes in at number 30 and is in it for 3 minutes, he wouldn't have to be match fit. He'd need to be match fit by WrestleMania. And as I've just said, The Undertaker did talk about the fact that he would need to train for a year to get ready for one match. A year. And The Undertaker was always a cardio god. Michael says, Meltzer is more accurate about New Japan and AEW. I really think people in WWE don't like Meltzer, so they feed him bad information, knowing he'd put it in his newsletter. There is more and more proof lately that he's putting a lot of stuff in that newspaper. Pardon me, that newsletter that isn't necessarily as well fact-checked as it should be. Dark Society says The Rock is just busy, which, to be fair, is not a bad way of describing it. And Jordan Darlow says, thanks for clarifying the facts for The Rock news, Tom. No worries, Jordan. Much appreciated. Noob says The Rock needs to focus on the XFL this year. John says, who do you think will be the first female to jump from AEW to WWE? I think several females have already jumped from AEW to WWE, so let's go back and say one of them. Tristan says, if Cody Rhodes wins the Royal Rumble, will he challenge for the WWE Championship or both titles? That's assumption, built on assumption there. More on Cody Rhodes later. Raymond says, I could care less if The Rock returns at the Rumble. It's time to move on from the past. Look forward to what is coming in the future. Joey says, hi Tom. I joined late. What did I miss? You've missed talk about the releases currently ongoing in the WWE and the intentions as a result of them. And you've missed our talk on The Rock so far. I will recap, but there's plenty more news to get through first. And of course, the comments. Sorry guys, not sure what happened there. We seem to have a brief blip of the internet. Not sure the reasoning. Hopefully I'm back. It does say excellent connection on my feeds. So please let me know if things are working on your side. Apologies if you did have a brief blip there. Thank you, Peter, for the clarification. Seems like we're back and we're flying. So hopefully nobody vanished on that one. There may be a little bit of buffering, but thank you guys, appreciate it. Thanks for the clarification. Let's keep going, shall we? Michael says, how the hell would Zero News know if someone signed a non-disclosure agreement? That would be, if they did know that, then someone is massively in breach of contract and someone is likely going to be in the, as an end result, under a lawsuit. Big questions there. That is a pretty perfect example of something that's not in public interest and something that is potentially harmful to someone that you absolutely, under no circumstances, should report, which tells me not really a professional. Spider-Boss says, in your opinion, which wrestler shouldn't have won the Rumble? And mine is Charlotte in 2020. I don't think anyone necessarily has gone through a phase where they shouldn't have won the Rumble. And there's plenty of people who didn't need it, but they made it work. Steve says, do you have a least favourite Royal Rumble match? Absolutely. Last year's. It was terrible. Terrible. Will says, do you think people need to remember The Rock is one of the most successful businessmen in the world? Yeah, and a large part of that is the work that he does in order to protect his name, his reputation, and to not injure himself before going off to film. Joey says, I know you've been asked this a lot, but what news do you have on The Rock appearing at the Rumble? The rumours are really heating up recently. I've just shared the news on that one, Joey, about 10 minutes ago. By all means, rewind if you want to catch up, or wait for the recap after we've shared the rest of the news. One says, it was amazing, Tom. I checked it out. Maybe there's hope for AEW. I love variety. John says, don't forget to hit the like button, guys. Thank you, Jordan. Ghost, welcome. Says, hello, Tom and chat. Hope everyone's doing well. Do you smell like it must be what The Rock is cooking? No sarcasm. He's not coming. Simon says, Kyrie's in the Women's Royal Rumble, not her opponent. You don't know either of those things, Simon. You literally know neither of them. As regards Meltzer, Spider-Boss says, JBL once said WWE fed Meltzer with wrong news. So he'd put it on his newsletter. Yeah, and they absolutely do. Horsey says, didn't The Rock quietly retire 2 years ago? Depends if you believe Meltzer or not. Tommy says, any Forbidden Door entrances for the Rumble? Nope, because the Forbidden Door is just branding from AEW. It's nothing to do with WWE. Venom says, I want Cody to be the one, just WWE champion. Just don't know about how much of an obvious giveaway this is winning the Rumble. It's ruined the element of surprise. Has it? Has it? Kieran says, lights went out. Oh my god, it's The Rock. One says, welcome back. Tom Eric says, it's a pitch black match. Daz says, working. David Leary says, I can see you. Nas says, The Undertaker is behind you now. Obviously, I should have checked. Always beware of The Undertaker. He just pops up. Horsey says, love the 2007 Rumble. 92 is my all-time favourite. Apparently there is no sound on the Twitch side. Is that still an issue? Because my audio is definitely coming through the streaming software. Eric says, imagine if Will Ospreay or FDR come in at number 30. That would be 2 people. Carlos says, Raw 30 is in Philly. What about The Rock appearing Monday with all the bloodline and challenges Roman for the head of the table at WrestleMania next year, which is also in Philly? That would certainly be a better call, in my opinion, because then he has time to do so. Steve says, welcome back, Tom. Thought it was my connection. Jaden says, hey, Tom. Hey, Jaden. Tristan says, why do main roster talent keep getting demoted back to NXT? They don't get demoted. They are moved there simply because there is nothing that they can do on the main roster, and they need to do something in order to keep them busy. Jaden, that was not in the rundown, and we have nothing to discuss there. Ed says, why does everyone want the Fortnite guy in the Royal Rumble? Do you mean Logan Paul, or do you mean, like, Spider-Man? Right. Michael Latino says, can't hear you on the Twitch side. That, unfortunately, is a problem with Twitch. I'm not sure what I can do to change that because it's working just fine on YouTube. Other than actually disconnecting and reconnecting on Twitch, which would mean disconnecting from YouTube, unfortunately, it looks like that's how it's going to have to be. By all means, switch over to the YouTube side, guys. It may be the right call on it, and might give me a few more likes. Vegeta says, NXT isn't a demotion. Ed says, I want to know what Tom Colohue is cooking. We're still not doing a cooking stream, Ed. Still not happening. Joey says, why did Matt Cardona trademark the name Zack Ryder? Is it for the Rumble? If it was for the Rumble, he wouldn't have needed to trademark it because he's trademarked it, which means the WWE can't use it. Noob says, DC Asuka returning to the Women's Rumble at number 30 as Kana. Nope. That says, what was your favourite Kane match, Tom? Mine was against The Undertaker. Mine too. Tristan says, what is the current plan for Roman Reigns' titles? Are they getting split or not? At the moment, they are discussing the splitting of the titles. However, nothing has been confirmed. Nothing has been confirmed or guaranteed. Gotcha, Michael. Thank you. Hector says you sound high-pitched now on Twitch, but the sound is back. Well, bit by bit, we're getting there. We're definitely having some issues still, but bit by bit, we're getting there. Kevin Dunlap says, my final 4, Cody, Seth, Sami, and Brock. Fantasy booking, have Cody and Sami both hit the floor at the same time, having a reason for Roman to fight both nights, defending each title. Simon's favourite Royal Rumble ever was 2001, when Stone Cold won his second Royal Rumble. He did not win the first one. He came in after he was eliminated. He did not win. I will never agree to that. Spider-Boss says, do you see Sami Zayn ruining the Bloodline celebration? Nope. Kieran says the winner of the Rumble is mostly never a surprise, but it's always exciting just for the surprise entrance, which is why the 2022 Rumble was so terrible, as there was none really apart from Bunny. Well, to be fair, Shane McMahon. Here cometh the money. Here cometh the money. Money, 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 money. Wealth, wealth. Venom says if Rock challenges Roman on Raw, isn't it a giveaway Roman is keeping at least one of his titles until that match? I would be very surprised if he doesn't keep both titles until WrestleMania. Very surprised. Tristan says it's Bray Wyatt versus Uncle Howdy's a plan at WrestleMania 39. Not that I've heard, no. Dark Society says, why do I have a feeling that Naomi is returning as a surprise? You're a regular here, Dark Society. There may be a reason you think that. a report may have come out today that just confirms what I've already reported. In fact, I think it was Ross, who gave me a quote tweet on that particular piece of news, making it very clear where we were with it. So you know what? It was Ross. Let's retweet that now. Because I'm live, and why the hell not? Peter. Joey says, do you know what's planned for the Bloodline segment on the 30th Raw? Nope. Haven't even asked. I like a surprise every now and then too. Harry says, Tom, do you think Tyson Fury is going to come back to WWE? Yeah, he'll be there in the UK. Tristan says, he was Edge's opponent at WrestleMania 39. I believe it's going to be Finn Balor. Dad says, do you think Shane will be back in the Rumble? No, not at all. Sean says, wrestling news, Cody's saying Cody wasn't cleared when he was announced for the Royal Rumble. Are they? Or are they just re-reporting what Dave Meltzer has said? Go and find out for me, please, Sean. Go and find out for me. And says, yeah, man, Dakota Kai, you got it. Spider-Boss says, did Shane O'Mac book the 2022 Women's Rumble because it was terrible? He helped book both Rumbles. He is not the sole person. And Go says, here comes the money, or pesos, or euros. This is an international stream. It is indeed. Here cometh the money. Here cometh the riches. Joey says, do you think we get Uncle Howdy unmasking at the Rumble? Probably. I'm not that excited about the idea. Venom says, we need Johnny versus Ciampa to lead to a Mania match. Neither of them are likely to be on the Mania card. Tom Talks Rubbish, welcome. Says, what's up, Tom? Hope you had a great week. Had a very good week. Thank you, Tom. Hope you did as well. Eric Douglas says, how about this at 30? It's only Sammy left at 30. It's time to play the game and how you play it. Why? Triple H cannot wrestle anymore. There is no value to that. Keith Sean says, I hear they might strip Roman of one of the titles after the Rumble. Any truth to that? You've heard that from Zero News, which are not a credible source in any way, shape, or form. And you've heard that from Zero News because of the idea that, oh, Roman's going to get punished because the Usos are doing things. Surely if someone's going to get punished, it would be the Usos. Harry says, any news about Logan Paul returning soon? Yeah, Logan Paul's going to be in the Rumble. I've been speaking about that one for a while. Spider-Boss says, I think we forget to say the best in the world when Shane McMahon appears. Steve says, if you had to predict now, do you believe Cody Rhodes will enter the Rumble match early, in the middle, or in the final few entrants? I believe he'll enter mid to late. I've said previously I expect him to be 17, 18, that sort of area. Tristan says, what are the chances of Sid Vicious getting inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame this year? About the same as anyone else. Sean says, the report's true that Vince is being sued to stop him from taking control of WWE and stop him from selling the company. No, he is being sued. He is already taking control of the WWE. He is selling the company. So, it's that simple. Christoph says, I've been told the current plan for the acknowledgement ceremony is that Roman will ask all the family members, including those from the past, to acknowledge him. Christoph, where did you get that news? Please source your information. Code Adrenaline, welcome. Says, anything on Naomi and the Rumble? I've already shared all the information I have on Naomi and the Rumble. As far as I know, the dialogue has been kept open. The discussion has been positive. The WWE do believe that Naomi will be returning to the company. I also believe that if Naomi does return in the Royal Rumble, she is going to just receive constant chance of Sasha Banks. Tom says, do you think Steve Austin will be in the Rumble? No. Sean says, possible CM Punk entry into the Rumble? No. But I do have a report on that. Christoph, not a credible source under any way, shape or form. Not a credible source. Simply not true. CM Punk. Let's talk CM Punk. So a report has now come out about CM Punk still being with AEW, with Tony Khan not looking to release him. Now, I've spoken about this in the past. I've made it very, very clear what the situation is. Let me reiterate with as much detail as I can. CM Punk wants out of AEW. He has told Tony Khan, I will sit at home and take the money, or you can pay me to leave, but it will cost you 7 figures. 7 figures. Tony Khan ultimately does not want to pay that. He also doesn't want to lose an asset he expects to walk straight into the WWE, so a competitor. CM Punk is the one suggesting that the WWE are interested and telling Tony Khan, well, if you let me go, Vince and Triple H are going to pick me up for nothing and I will embarrass you. So CM Punk wants his 7-figure sum, but he also wants to burn a bridge on the way out. Tony Khan not of a mind to do so. Ghost says it would be a once-in-a-lifetime swerve to see Cena show for the Rumble instead of The Rock until WWE has him do it again next year to make it twice in a lifetime. Eric says they told Edge he couldn't wrestle again. They said that about Paige, about Christian. They all came back. Yes, they all came back. Some of them were cleared, some of them were not. Paige was not cleared by the WWE. She wasn't. And there was no plan to do so. Spider-Boss says, how do you rate Ronda's second run in WWE? Inferior to the first. Absolutely inferior to the first. There have been some really rough matches. There's also been a couple of good ones, mostly against Raquel Rodriguez, against Charlotte Flair. I think if she stays in the tag division, she'll start to build up steam. Sean said, Lashley loses to Theory. Yeah. There's many different ways to lose. Peter says there are a few lawsuits against Vince. Watch Tom's space. I do have more on that coming shortly. Hector says, Tom, do you think we'll see more Jake Paul lean to Mania? They could definitely cash in on Jake Paul, especially on their biggest show. They are intending to have Jake Paul involved a lot more going forward. It wasn't just for Saudi Arabia. He just happened to be available and to be getting a double payout for it. We'll see more of Jake Paul going forwards. Spider-Boss says, Naomi returns and here goes a Sasha chance. Wiggly says, Tom, yo-yo, yo-yo, yo-yo. Apologies, I've been distracted tonight. Hope you're well. What a great comeback win for my team last night. I didn't watch it, so I wouldn't know. But I'm doing very well, thank you. Hope you're good. Ghost says, I feel like it's safe to assume Detroit might be one of the top options for SummerSlam this year. Won't be one of the top options for SummerSlam this year anymore following the lawsuit, fire and police retirement system. The fact that they are shareholders in the WWE is very, very interesting. Harry says, who do you think will return to the Royal Rumble? Cody Rhodes. Tristan says, is there any Attitude Era legends in the Royal Rumble this year? Everything is on the table. Venom says, do you think we're going to see a Hurt Business reunion? They are already teasing a Hurt Business reunion. There is a reason for that. Christoph says, Punk is going to sit down and wait till his contract is up. Do you know when his contract expires then? It's about 2 years. Steve says, do you know how long Ronda Rousey's contract is in WWE? No, I do not have that information. I did have it previously. I remember getting a lot of crap from people for reporting that Ronda Rousey's first contract with the WWE would only be for 12 months and then be proven right. Brad, I'm not aware that Triple H has a pacemaker. When did he say that? Tom says, if WWE did sell to Saudi, how would that affect your career as you don't cover those shows? To be honest, Tom, I'd probably have to shut the channel. I'd probably have to move to something else. Maybe go full-time gaming and football. We've talked about that before. Raymond says, do you have any updates on NXT Europe? Nope. William Regal has only just got to the point where he is getting involved in NXT Europe. We have to wait for people to actually do the job before I can report on the job. Spider-Boss says, it surprised me when Dax Harwood, he's not Hardwood, just to be clear, from FDR compared Mercedes Varnado with CM Punk. Steve says, Pat McAfee in the Rumble, unconfirmed but a big hunch. If he's available, he'll definitely be in and he'll be the loudest voice trying to make it happen. Peter says, do you think the Profits join the Hurt Business? No. What I will say, and I found this interesting, so MVP is not particularly happy with the constant conversation about who's going to join the Hurt Business because of the racism. Because there is an assumption, I reported on this years ago when there was talk of, it's going to be a new nation. The WWE no longer enjoys nationalistic factions, and MVP does not want that. It's not going to be, it's the Hurt Business, they're the black one. That's not how it goes. Not at all. With who MVP likes and who MVP wants, we are more likely to see Drew McIntyre in the Hurt Business than for it to be an entirely, as so many people seem determined to have, black stable. Spider-Boss says, I like the tease of the Hurt Business reunion. It seems Omos would be the enforcer. We are currently on 2,039 subscribers. We're currently on 106 views and 43 likes. Please remember to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Let's get up to 2,040, and then tonight during the watch party, we can go even further. Tristan says, will we be able to see during the Mountain Dew pitch black match? Yes, he will. Carmelina says, hi Tom. Hey Carmelina. Eric says, with both the Young Bucks, Kenny and FDR all be free agents in the next couple of months. Do you see them all staying or going? Personally, I very much see FDR going. but the Elite staying. Steve says, any updates on when or if we will get a WWE draft this year? After WrestleMania is still being considered as a landmark date. Carmelina is excited for tonight's SmackDown. Harry says, any news about who's in the Hall of Fame? News will start to drop as we get closer to the Royal Rumble. Wiggly says, when will we see EO get a singles push? At some point later this year, probably. Spider-Boss says, I remember people wanted Dominic Mysterio to join Legado del Fantasma. I guess it was because there is Latinos there. Yeah. Again, nationalistic factions. Venom says, it seems from Raw they might be teasing Alpha Academy turning face. Do you think they're turning face? No, absolutely not. There's not really anything that really fits there. Brad suggests Ali for the Hurt Business. Doesn't fit at all for me. Really does not fit what they're going for. Dark Society said Pat McAfee's not a bad wrestler, so awesome on commentary. He does have a contract which includes wrestling dates. We'll be seeing more of him in a wrestling ring soon. Tommy says, will they have a special set for Raw on Monday for Raw 30? Probably not, no. Got it, Tom. Thank you for the clarification there. Defibrillator. Joey says, WrestleVotes reported WWE gave away Cody Rhodes' return because they're pleased with the other surprises they have. Do you know what those other surprises are? I have heard lots of names thrown at me, but I can't sit here and say this is who everyone's going to be because I don't want to. On Cody Rhodes then. On Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes was always planned to be announced early about going into the Royal Rumble. It was very, very obvious that he would be doing so. I reported this first at Hell in a Cell that the plan after his injury was to have him return at the Royal Rumble and probably win the whole damn thing. The whole damn show. Probably the whole damn show. Cody Rhodes is now in a position to do so. It's very, very interesting to see the backlash to the announcement that he's going to be there. His face was on the poster weeks ago. So many people have been on Twitter saying, oh, look at this poster, The Rock's coming back. Look at this poster, The Rock's coming back. Cody Rhodes and Brock Lesnar were literally right there on the poster. They may have formally announced it, but since the beginning of the month, he's been advertised for the show way ahead of time. He's going to be involved in it. Now, when it comes to the backlash and the idea that, oh, this means he won't win, or it's too obvious he'll win, this is exactly what happened 2 years ago with Edge. On the go-home Raw before the Royal Rumble, Edge announced, I'll be entering the Royal Rumble, and people thought, oh, well, there must be a bigger surprise. He's obviously not going to win. And then he won. And there were no bigger surprises. WrestleVotes is not a source that gets everything right. It's a source that is very careful what they report. Very careful. To the fact that, as you've shown there, Joey, what they've actually reported is basically nothing. WWE are confident that they have other people so that they don't have to save Cody Rhodes. It's an absolute nothing report. They have, and this is a large thing with WrestleVotes. They don't have their name shown. They don't have their face shown. There is no way to question their credibility because they don't put their face on it. They don't put their name on it. And I always find it very interesting when their work gets reported on Fightful and then you see Sean Ross Sapp saying, oh, your profile picture doesn't have your face in it. You need to do that before you talk to me. It's just constant hypocrisy. Code says, do you think the Usos drop their tag titles against Judgment Day? Nope. Tristan says, will the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal be on SmackDown again this year or WrestleMania pre-show? At the moment, it's on SmackDown. That may change closer to the time. Venom says, I want Brock to come back and batter Cross. Even with Scarlett's help, Cross still couldn't beat Brock. Very true. Spider-Boss says, I'd love to see Rhea Ripley winning the Women's Rumble because that would be fresh. She is amongst the favourites. Ghost says, in a way, we're getting a Rock at the Rumble. Baroque, to be exact. Christoph says, looks like the new Hurt Business is going to be same as the old one plus Omos. Could be wrong, but I mean, Cedric and Shelton suddenly back on TV might be for a reason. Eric says, I completely agree with you on FTR because one, they keep losing, then they lost all their tag titles. Finally, I want to see them be the one to dethrone the Usos. Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, as I reported in September, are more than likely going to be the one to dethrone the Usos. Steve says, opinion question, do you believe will ever get Becky Lynch versus Ronda Rousey one-on-one? Yes, we definitely will. It's just a case that if they're having a lackluster pay-per-views, I'll just pivot to that. Keyshawn says, any ideas on Adam Cole's next feud? He's literally just got back. Give him a minute, mate. Tristan said, is the WrestleMania Women's Battle Royal scheduled for WrestleMania this year or no? At the moment, once again, it is not, but that could change closer to the day. Dad says, will you be watching the Muta versus Sting match, Tom? Nope. Spider-Boss says, being respectful, nothing has changed in the women's division. Becky and Charlotte still being heavily featured, and Bianca never loses. Heavily featured, mate. Charlotte was gone for half a year. Half a year. She wasn't heavily featured for half a year. Michael says, really hope to see FDR stay in AEW. More news are coming. So the first bit is about the locker room, and I do have to say, since Vince McMahon returned, the morale in the WWE locker room has taken a serious nosedive. A serious nosedive. Hence the amount of different meetings that have had to take place in order to basically reassure people that it's business as usual. But it's not business as usual. It isn't. Vince McMahon is back, and Vince McMahon is making changes. And with the budget cuts that are already actively happening as we speak, people are not confident of their position in the company anymore. Naturally, this particularly affects people who've just returned to the WWE or have just been hired by the WWE. A lot of people really not happy about it. The report from the Wall Street Journal about Vince McMahon settling outside of court with Rita Chatterton, a former WWE referee who accused him of rape, are the first of many things that the Wall Street Journal will be reporting on in the next few weeks. I have been saying in these channels, we are going to see, over the next few weeks, more coming out via the Wall Street Journal about Vince McMahon. This is the first of many to come. The settlement means that the lawsuit will not continue ahead. However, Vince McMahon has paid out a substantial amount in order to keep that particular report as silent as possible. If you've seen my video on Vince McMahon and the list of allegations against him, you will remember that this is one of them that I mentioned. This was ongoing for a while and has only just been shut down in the last few days. There is more coming via the Wall Street Journal and many other sources, so keep your eye out for them. What you will not see is anything like this coming out via the big-name wrestling journalists, because they don't have the contacts and they're all gossip columnists. Simon says, actually absolutely loved Paige, Saraya and Tony Storm's heel turn on Dynamite. Harry says, Tom, the only source I trust is you. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. Eric says, who is your favourite NXT call-up? They are all basically NXT call-ups now. Let's say Seth, for example. Tristan said, is Brock Lesnar still going to be at the Royal Rumble because he's on the poster? Yeah, at the moment, Brock Lesnar is booked for the Royal Rumble. Marcel says, hi, Tom. How are you going to look back now on this stream? I'm doing very well, thank you, Marcel. Hope you enjoy the show. Carmelina says, who do you think is going to look the strongest after the contract signing? Roman. Always Roman. Eric says, I like that we saw Scarlett wrestling again. Wolverine is advertising in my channel. Read the room, mate. Bailey says, any special plans in mind for the Royal Rumble watch party? Honestly, no. Sorry, bear with me just 1 second. Pardon me. Honestly, no. When it comes to watch parties, the fact that I'm streaming for like 5 hours and trying not to constantly go back and forth through the bathroom, it's a difficult one. So what I tend to do is just watch the show, chat away, and it plays out very similar to the SmackDown watch parties. What I do say is, because there's a lot more wrestling, it tends to be that people mute me every now and then and focus on what's happening on screen a bit more. I'm fine with that. Absolutely fine with that. Even if you're not really focused on the show, I would very much appreciate you popping in, giving us a like, maybe hit mute if you want to mute, but just have me on in the background. I love a lurker, what can I say? What can I say? Helps us grow in a massive, massive way. Spider-Boss says, I didn't get why FTR versus Young Bucks 2 never happened. Sammer says, do you see Alexa Bliss winning the Raw Women's title at the Royal Rumble? No. Tom says, what would your theme song be if you wrestled? Master Passion Greed by Nightwish. Barry says, one law for the rich, none for the rest of us. Nothing changes. Peach thinks I'm going to do the Nutcracker Suite. Me. Michael says, 29 more days. You know what that means. I do, Michael, I do. Hector says, I really hope we get a Brock Lesnar-Gunter interaction at the Rumble, because that'll be a sight to see. And Sean says, chances we get a swerve and title change hands at the Rumble. Do you see Charlotte defending at the Rumble? No and no. Thank you, Brad. Thank you, Naz. Sean says, when do we see the Bloodline turn on Sami Zayn? Well, if we see that. if. Cool, Venom. I'm glad you're excited. You do need to chill out a bit more, though. Christoph says, who's the worst Royal Rumble winner in your opinion? For me, Batista in 2014. I don't know. I haven't watched all of them. Probably Hacksaw, the first one, because they didn't do anything with it at the time. Bailey says, if Vince told Jerry McDevitt to pay off Rita Chatterton out of WWE money, there would be nobody above him to say no. That's correct. He can do whatever he wants. No, Joey, I'm not going to play a Hogwarts Legacy. In no way. In no way am I going to do that. Rick Boogs is due back shortly after recovering from the knee injury he picked up at WrestleMania. I do suspect he is likely to pair back up with Shinsuke Nakamura as a tag team going forwards. Around WrestleMania time, I expect to see Rick Boogs. I don't believe he's been cleared for action as of yet, so I wouldn't expect to see him in the Royal Rumble, but WrestleMania time would be a good time for him to pop up, potentially in the Battle Royal. And that is our news. Tristan says, do you see Triple H jumping at Kenny Omega when his AEW contract expires very soon? They always throw money at Kenny. He always says no. Spider-Bell says, who got more boos after winning the Women's Royal Rumble, Charlotte in 2020 or Ronda in 2022? Charlotte, because they were trying to get boos. They weren't trying to get boos for Ronda. People were happy to see her. Everyone just forgets that. Steve says, is there a Royal Rumble match you feel is underrated that you feel not enough people talk about? Not really. Like, the good ones are the good ones and they stand out, but there's none in particular that really jump out for me. Dark Society says, are you going to play Resident Evil 4 Remake if that's your type of game? It is more my type of game than Hogwarts Legacy, I'll tell you that. So possibly. I am a Resident Evil fan. And the fact that it's being remade, I'm excited by that. Very excited. We will be live in just over 2 hours for a SmackDown watch party. Be sure to come back and check it out then. If you like shows like this, be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. And we'll be seeing more of you as we go forward. In the meantime, hopefully you've hit like. We are going to say goodbye for now. I've been Tom Colohue. You've been fantastic. And I'll see you all very soon.